We are live.
Okay, great. Well, good evening, everybody. The village board meeting pursuant to Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.1, the Village of Warwick meetings will be conducted virtually through Zoom video conference until further notice. To view the meeting, the public may view the meeting live the public may view the meeting live on the Village of Warwick, New York YouTube channel. And the village's website. The public may view the meeting a day or so after its completion by going to the village's website, villageofwarwick.org. To comment during privilege of the floor only via email or mail, comments may be sent to the village board prior to the village board meeting via email to clerk@villageofwarwick.org or via mail, Village of Warwick, attention Village Clerk, Post Office Box 369, Warwick, New York 10990. Please indicate in your correspondence that you wish to have your comments read during privilege of the floor. If we could have a roll call, please.
Trustee Cheney?
Here, and we need to do the pledge.
I know, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
realized that when I said it, roll call. Very good. If everyone would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Appreciate it. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and
justice for all.
Thank you. And now,
Trustee Cheney?
Here.
Trustee Lindberg?
Here.
Mayor Newhart?
Here.
Trustee Bachman? And Trustee McManus.
Thank you. May I have a motion for authorization to pay all approved and audited claims number 21002051 through 22000018 in the amount of $418,254.82.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And an announcement, the Village of Warwick's annual drinking water quality report for 2020 is available on our website, and we have hard copies here at Village Hall if you'd like one. Barry, again, thank you for your hard work and also the team in our water department. They do an incredible work for us all year round. But this takes some doing. It's not like a form to be filled out or to be repeated. It changes every year. So thank you very much for all that work.
You're welcome. Yeah, and I'd like to just thank Chris Bennett and Keith Herbert and Raina Abramson and Denise Bolness. One of the things this year that we modified a little bit was that the full document is now available in Spanish, both on the website and as a paper copy. So anyone wanting to have it in the Spanish language, it is available in two ways to them.
That's great.
Good.
And under correspondence this evening, we have.
Excuse me, Michael. We also had the announcement regarding the public information meeting for the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, I'll.
You do that later.
Correspondence, I'll give you the floor.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have a letter from New York State Department of Environmental Conservation regarding the engineering planning grant application number 105412, inflow and infiltration study, and also, sadly, a letter of resignation from our dear deputy clerk, Marianne Benedict, who is officiating the meeting tonight, who is doing the meeting this evening. Marianne, I just want to say you have been just wonderful to work with. We all have just appreciated your hard work. It's a busy, busy village, even in the midst of a pandemic, maybe even more so. And you just, every day, you shown, and we appreciate all the work, and we're glad that you're going to actually do a little bit of travel and enjoy life and your family.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure working with everybody.
Thank you. Very
Thank you very much.
professional in all respects.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So Barry.
Okay. We are going to be holding a public information meeting on June 17th, 2021, regarding the comprehensive master plan that the village is currently working on. And so I will read the announcement as it's going to be issued to the press. Please join the Village of Warwick, Fairweather Consulting, and Alta Planning and Design for a 1-hour virtual public information meeting on Thursday, June 17th, 2021, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. via Zoom to share project information for the Warwick Comprehensive Plan update. There will be polling questions presented throughout the meeting, as well as the option to ask questions through a chat box for live answers from the project team. A survey will be available after the meeting and posted to the village website. Presentation will be recorded and posted to the village website and YouTube channel for those who cannot attend on the meeting date. And suggestions and our comments made at the meeting will be considered by the project team as the project progresses. There's an opportunity to register in advance for the webinar. And after registering, you will receive a confirmation email containing information about joining the webinar. And I won't read that, but anyone that's interested, please contact Village Hall and they will be able to get the specific site address for any individual.
Thank you. And the committee's doing, I think, an excellent job, and I'm looking forward to that. I also, that same evening prior to the 7 o'clock comprehensive plan information meeting, there is a meeting or a, let's see, what would we call it? A informational meeting, Zoom meeting on Warwick's Triple Win campaign for solar energy or solar use. I'll just read it quickly. Learn all about community solar and the Triple Win campaign by signing up for the webinar to be held by Albert Wisner Public Library at 7 p.m. on Thursday, June 17th. At 6 p.m. on June 17th. The Triple Win Community Solar Campaign will run until July 15th, 2021. Please check in with any family or friends who could use the savings on their electricity bill and help them sign up. For general questions about community solar, please contact Sustainable Warwick, clean energy at sustainablewarwick.org. And so the idea behind the Triple Win campaign is you actually, by signing up for community solar, which is really a great thing in terms of helping with reducing the carbon footprint and also using alternative energy. Many of us can't because we live in a village with smaller plot lots and in apartments. So in this respect, you can sign up for community solar. It means that you are going to be connected with a solar field within the region. But by signing up, and there is no fee or no monthly fees or no cancellation fees for this program, you also give local nonprofits a contribution of $100. And so that's a really nice thing. That's a great thing. And the nonprofits are the Warwick Valley Humane Society, the Warwick Valley Community Center, Safe Space America, Family Central, Grow Locally Greenwood Lake, and the Town of Warwick Historical Society. So all good, great nonprofits that we are all connected with. And so plus the triple win, the third win is you save 10% on electricity. That's a pretty incredible thing. So O&R customers who subscribe to Community Solar get up to 10% off their electricity bills. And during the Triple Win campaign, they also receive a $100 sign-up bonus. So that's pretty good. So if you're interested, at 6 o'clock on the 17th, through the library, and you can sign up at the library. Okay, Corey, did I get that right? Corey's been working with me on this.
Yes.
Is that everything?
Yeah, I'm especially excited for all the nonprofits to be able to benefit from the campaign. I think it's a really good thing all around.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so now we're at privilege of the floor, and I have, we do have someone who is going to join us, but, and if I also have a number of letters, emails that were sent to us in the past days. So if you could invite Joan into the meeting.
I don't see her yet. She's not in the waiting room.
Oh, she's not.
No.
Okay, well, I do have some remarks that she wrote, and I will read them. Privilege of the floor, remarks. Good evening, Mayor Newhart and trustees. Thank you for the opportunity to comment this evening. As a sponsor of the original Black Lives Matter resolution that was submitted to your board by 18 local citizens, I wish to express my disappointment that the words Black Lives Matter have been removed from the amended resolution that is before you this evening. I hope this amended resolution, which I encourage you to adopt with some change, will symbolize our solidarity to stand against all forms of inequality, and most particularly systemic racism, which continues to impact negatively on our BIPOC community and was the focus of our original resolution. It would be deeply meaningful if before adopting the resolution, the board would consider and approve the following edited changes. Please capitalize all reference to race as per rules of grammar, example, black and brown should read capital B for black and capital B for brown. In paragraph number 1, please amend the item to read, captured the country's attention on the perpetration of structural racism that continues to negatively impact communities of color. Explanation, racist practices is an anodyne. Yoga is a practice, racism is not. The additional phrase acknowledges the continuing existence of structural racism and is important to the argument made in the resolution. In paragraph 6, we'd like the beginning of the sentence to be capitalized as such. We recognize that all Black and brown lives matter. In paragraph 7, please amend the beginning of the sentence to read, the Village of Warwick, New York recognizes its responsibility to actively oppose all forms of inequality. Explanation, this language acknowledges that the duty that village elected officials, leaders have to reject all forms of inequality. Thank you for your attention and consideration to this matter. Joan Terrell. And the next letter is from Julio Mendez. Good afternoon, Mayor Newhart. My name is Julio Mendez. As you can tell by my name, I'm a Spanish resident of this great town. I see today that there will be a Black Lives Matter meeting. Wish I was able to attend, but do work. And as a minority living here, I want to say I don't need handouts or resolutions to any issue. Those 18 residents do not speak for the majority of our minority residents or our majority residents. I lived here for over a decade and have not seen a bit of systemic racism or any racism. This is a great place to live and to raise our children. The only racism I see are those 18 residents telling me I need help and a resolution because I'm a minority. I don't need help, and when I do, I will call the great police officers we have, which have never shown an ounce of prejudice. This place is a great place to live, and again, these 18 people are destroying it for us. We work hard and we are treated just the same as everyone else. We don't want special treatment. That's just plain racist if we do get special treatment. So thank you for your time, and please stand up for the silent majority of us minorities. That's from Julio Mendez. And the next letter, and I also want to say that we received each one of us received the resolution originally. And in the time of receiving the resolution and to tonight, there have been many emails from many people who support the original resolution. So I don't have all their names, but there was, I would say, a good 10 to 12 people that sent us emails of encouragement. This is an email from Tuni Lushinsky. Dear Mayor Newhart, Patricia McMillan and Joan Terrell are asking the people in the governing authority of the Village of Warwick to declare that the governing bodies and residents that the governing bodies and residents believe, which I'm guessing it would be fact, that systemic racism is a real and present concern in all of our communities. My first question is, what is the definition of systemic racism? And could they please show examples of it in all of our communities? I would also like to hear from you with your examples of systemic racism here in the Village of Warwick, so I can have a better understanding of the declaration which they are requesting to be passed in a very short window of time. This resolution states that it is in support of Black lives, which seems to exclude any person of a different race or color who may also feel it's relevant to them. I would suggest that the declaration, if passed and however worded, be renamed that All Lives Matter Declaration, as we strive to see fairness and support for everyone. I also hope we can take every possible chance to get to unite and bring us all closer to a common ground. Sincerely, Tuni Lushinsky. And the next is from Daniel Forst. Dear board and community, excuse me. I strongly object to the discrimination and implicit racism of item 14, Declaration 6, whereas we recognize that all Black and Brown lives matter. All people should be treated equally regardless of skin color. As a governmental entity, the township would be violating constitutional law by segregating any class of people by skin color, something working its way through courts now in other jurisdictions. As a household comprised of 2 minority members, I do not expect the township to promote discriminatory language, which inevitably will lead to active racism and bias in our community. As a community, we should want people to treat each other equally and not by our skin color, and government should be colorblind. A society that puts equality before freedom gets neither. A society that puts freedom before equality gets a higher degree of both. Milton Friedman. And this is signed Daniel Forst. And that now it has
Yes, Joan has arrived. Would you like me to let her in?
Please invite her in. Joan, can you hear us? We do not see an image and you are on mute.
Thank you, and I'm so very sorry for the technical difficulties. Thank you for your patience.
Joan, no problem. Joan, thank you for coming this evening. We appreciate it. And the board is here to listen to you. By the way, Joan, I also read the comments that you sent us late in the afternoon.
Thank you very much. I understood privilege of the floor to limit us to 3 minutes, and I did send those comments along, and I've been listening and had technical difficulties. I thank you for that. I think in the time that might remain to me, I would like to say I've heard the comments, both pro and con, declaring a Black Lives Matter assertion in this comment period. And I think what I'd like to say is I believe that we all agree that there should be no special treatment for any particular group of individuals. The human ideal is that all individuals will be treated equally. I think if we look at LGBTQ individuals, we can say throughout history, there was what has become a very effective, in a relatively shorter period of time, movement that has taken hold to assure that treatment is equal. That doesn't mean outcomes are equal for all people, but the treatment under law and that attitudes shift so that there is respect and equal treatment. I think that when it comes to Black Lives Matter, and I speak obviously as a white individual, there are many eloquent and involved Black BIPOC residents of Warwick who might not be on here tonight for a variety of reasons. But in a nutshell, I'd actually like to say that I too, as a white person, am Black Lives Matter. Even as a white, middle-aged, suburban wife and mother who's lived in Warwick for 20 years. And I say this because I'm among the millions of Americans who have watched in our lifetimes with increasing concerns and with some alarm about the systemic injustices. That doesn't mean that person to person, people are not good and decent and kind to others of any race. But it does mean that, for instance, in housing, in banking, fortunately not everyone, but in policing at times, there can be an extraordinary way in which African Americans are treated that disadvantages them. The outcomes have been clear. There is plenty of data that show, one example, that Black girls are 3 times more likely to get out of school suspensions than white girl students for the same infraction. The number of Black men who are incarcerated for low-level crime far outweighs that proportionately of whites. Housing, redlining, these are what we call systems of racism. And not only does this redound in large ways, but it has impact to family success, wealth, and legacy. It also means that people at times are treated poorly on a personal basis. I can tell you that I know of an individual who was actually more than one, called the N-word in passing vehicle in town. I know another person whose child was called a name, the skin color looks like poop, and that mother was not able to get what she considered a reasonable assessment of that and some intervention. These are the smaller microaggressions. There is a sense of intimidation because sometimes a Black person speaks up in defense of an issue or with a problem and feels a great sense of danger that there could be a retaliation from an individual. These things occur. And so I think that our increasing understanding of how we got here, which is that, depending on our skin color, we have a different role to hoe here in this nation when we're born. We're born into an efficiently designed system of racism. So we did not create it. We inherited it. But from birth, depending on our skin color, each of us has been marked with biases, burdens, or privileges assigned to our skin color through history's lens. And if you don't believe this, if anyone listening doesn't believe it, I ask only one question of each one of us. Would we, any one of us, be willing, with all things being as they are in our lives now, would we be willing to trade our white skin for Black and to receive the same treatment that our Black citizens do, whether it's in micro ways or in systemic ways? I would think the answer would be no. I know that would be my answer. And so I do want to say, just to conclude, that the fact that we inherited these systems means we often can't see those aggressions. We can't see it happening to other people. And it is time for us, I think, finally, we've seen George Floyd's murder. We saw Breonna Taylor's story. We've seen videos that show us what's happening. I think it's time that although we didn't inherit this problem and we didn't create it, that we started to understand in our lifetimes we have a duty to do what we can to more fully understand this history and to listen to people of color when they say there are consequences they still pay in prejudice, in racism. And we have to acknowledge those problems exist and maybe take steps as citizens to help correct the wrongs. And sometimes that's as simple as memorializing a declaration that we believe this. And I think to just end, I would say in this way, Black Lives Matter is not anti-white. It's not radical. It's peaceful. It's multiracial. It's a movement dedicated to equality and justice for all, not equality at the expense of others. It works for the equal application of our constitutional rights and protections to Black people and is therefore humane, pro-democracy, and patriotic. Black Lives Matter is not anti-blue lives. It is anti-racism. Blue lives refers symbolically to a uniform we respect and to a career we respect, which is chosen. It is not a skin color. So there is, unfortunately, in the argument that's been confused here, really no equivalency and no beef with police, person to person. As far as I can see, there are many, many great individuals doing outstanding public service. But we need to take care of systemic laws that may protect the individual who doesn't do the right thing on the job. So Black Lives Matter demands that no one else give up their rights, but that Black lives be treated equally, respected, protected, and uplifted as white lives. And so I think, just to conclude, it's Maya Angelou, the Black poet, who did give us a roadmap to this progress. She said, quote, "Do the best you can until you know better. And when you know better, do better," unquote. This isn't to blame white people. We inherited this. We all live here under the conditions that we inherited. But we're learning little by little, listening to BIPOC community members, in some cases our family, coworkers, and friends, that they do suffer under prejudice. And so with our learning of this, we can know better and not ignore Black lives in what they tell us, and be inspired by empathy and not fear, and do better. And so I think in this way, we need to also depoliticize what Black Lives Matter means and look at it very clearly as a human rights, as a deeply American, a deeply constitutional movement. And in that spirit, I've come to you. I deeply appreciate the time you've given me tonight. I thank you for your consideration. And I wish you good thinking on this. And again, I say my thanks.
Joan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll open it up to the board members. Do you have any questions for Joan? Any thoughts? So I think, Joan, I just want to say that, when we received the resolution, it was in its original form, it did have questions for us. And one of the questions was, where do we stand as a representative agency of government for, the 7,000 people of our village? And why, considering that this is a political movement, why are we in the position to basically, give it the thumbs up?
Well, I think that the solutions to systemic racism lie in public policy and in political activism, and that activism doesn't have to be only marching in the streets. It's finding understanding and finding common cause with those, especially at the local level, who sit in our communities and may be hearing from people in the community about their interactions. I think part of, therefore, the duty of those who sit as political leaders is to respond to that. And to the resolution in some ways is symbolic. You aren't creating legislation. One of the frustrations for, I think, Black people, and Ta-Nehisi Coates speaks of this, the Black writer, in a book called Between the World and Me. He speaks of the deep frustration of Black people because the promise of our Constitution and the splendid words of liberty and justice for all in our founding documents hit bitterly on the heart of Black people. And as I've explained, there are systems, there are banking regulations, there are ways in which we conduct. It could be local policing. It could even be the way children are disciplined. I say this broadly, but I also say, I'll be honest with you, when I moved here, I was told, I'll give you a personal example. And this doesn't mean it's anything more than one individual who was speaking to me, but it is the kind of thing that's the micro situation you encounter. I was having somebody, a professional, show me homes, and that individual told me of a particular part of town that I probably wouldn't want to move to because it was where the Black folks lived. Now, I am not claiming that that is your responsibility to fix in terms of, you can't create a law. There are fair housing laws. And clearly that was a violation, if you will, of fair housing practice. But the very fact that these things occur and that Black people are telling us they're occurring means that Black people need us to speak up with some courage and clarity and say, even symbolically, with which this resolution would be. We hear this. We know it's not every white person or every other. We know that there are prejudices and biases that can run across all races and all walks of life. But this particular bias, which has disadvantaged, it's hurt Black people. I'm sorry, but they die and are injured at the hands of law enforcement proportionately more than whites. There's a policy there that allows that, not every police officer. These are systems. I think we need to be able to say to our Black residents, we hear and understand this. That does not mean we are going to put a target on the back of all individuals in a particular industry or occupation. But you are the governing body, the people who respond to 7,000 individuals. And when there is a group that's as articulate and as, consistent, and when we realize that it's mostly white people, almost to a man or woman, who will stand up and argue that there is no such thing as racism. One rarely hears that from Black people. And certainly we don't hear it in large numbers of Black people. So I think this symbolic resolution acknowledges that this exists, and if it exists systemically, it redounds throughout our government. It happens on a local level, microaggressions, or it happens systemically. And I think it would be a huge step in the right direction to show compassion and recognition. It, again, is a symbolic gesture that responds to something that is of deep concern to a significant population that loves Warwick, that has lived here, and that is dealing with a lot. And that includes trauma. It includes stress. It includes anxiety for their children. Because even if nothing happens today, those individuals have had enough encounters, random encounters here and there, to know that any day could be a bad day. And that is what we're acknowledging. We're acknowledging that we see their lives matter. We choose to believe and recognize what they tell us, and that we stand in solidarity, as we do with all our citizens. If another group came forward and said, we're having a big problem. This is it. I would expect you would hear it. And for this reason, I really think that it is worth your time to make this symbolic gesture, and that it would be meaningful in a very deep way. We are a great town. You know, it's funny, I think when you're in a family and you love people, when you have a problem with them, you don't walk away. You actually call them on it because you love them, because you want to solve it and you want it to be better. And you know, you could get in a screaming match, or they could not understand what you're saying. It could create issues, but you're willing to take it on because you love them. And I think that's the same thing that's going on in our nation and tonight here in our town. We all love Warwick, and we know how great Warwick is, but we know that our BIPOC community is suffering stress. And so they're asking the town that they truly love, in which they've invested their lives, to hear that and to stand and say, we get it, and your lives matter.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you very much. You're our only guest this evening, so we will move on to our meeting. Thank you very much, Joan.
I thank you all very much for your time and consideration. Good evening.
Thank you. We'll move to motions. Trustee Cheney.
Okay, first motion to close a portion of Main Street, Route 94, to permit outdoor dining on Fridays and Saturdays from 5:30 PM to 11 PM, starting June 25th, 2021 through July 31st, 2021, pending further extension of Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.38 covering those dates. New York State Department of Transportation COVID-19 recovery temporary use permit approval has been received.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion to allow restaurants on Main Street that are enrolled in the Village of Warwick outdoor dining program to place tables on the sidewalks in front of their property for dining, and to close the parking spaces in front of their property to allow room for pedestrian access on Sundays from June 27th, 2021 through August 1st, 2021, from 12 PM to 4 PM, excluding Sunday, July 11th, 2021, for the benefit of the Merchants Guild sidewalk sale, pending further extension of Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.38 covering those dates.
Second. Discussion.
Okay,
I just want to make, hopefully the restaurants aware that, there's special considerations for use of the sidewalk, during the weekend, but that doesn't mean that they can continue those tables in the sidewalks, Monday, during the week, for safe passage, for pedestrians, delivery folks and such.
very good. Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye. Motion to allow restaurants on Railroad Avenue and Spring Street that are enrolled in the Village of Warwick outdoor dining program to place tables on the sidewalks in front of their property for dining, and to close the parking spaces in front of their property to allow room for pedestrian access on Fridays and Saturdays from 5:30 PM to 11 PM, and Sundays from 12 PM to 4 PM, from June 25th, 2021 through August 1st, 2021, excluding restaurants on Railroad Avenue on Sunday, July 11th, 2021, for the benefit of the Merchants Guild sidewalk sale, pending further extension of Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.38 covering those dates.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to accept the proposal for engineering services from Barton and LaJudas dated June 1st, 2021 for the preparation of a water system preliminary engineering report, and authorize the mayor to sign the amendment to the master services agreement with Barton and LaJudas in the amount of $30,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is a motion for fiscal year 2012 Orange Urban County Consortium Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program Resolution Hurricane Irene Infrastructure Project. The Village of Warwick is hereby submitting its application for consideration under the Orange County Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program, and the chief elected official or executive officer is hereby authorized to submit his application for the Hurricane Irene Infrastructure Project as described in the proposal. Input from citizens and groups has been received and considered, and an application has been prepared which addresses their community concerns. They further certify that they have read and understood the Orange County Community Development Guidelines for the Disaster Recovery Program and have met all of its applicable requirements, and that the information contained in the application is accurate and true to the best of their knowledge. If awarded CDBG-DR-DR funds, the municipality shall implement the activities in a manner to ensure compliance with all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, it's a resolution.
Roll call, yeah.
Roll call.
Trustee Cheney,
Aye.
trustee Limber,
Aye.
trustee Bachman,
Aye.
trustee McManus, and Mayor Newhart.
Aye.
Motion to hire Ryan Richards to the position of seasonal Department of Public Works laborer at a salary of $15 per hour, each at 40 hours per week for 12 weeks with a start date to be determined by DPW Supervisor Michael Moser.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's a resolution for 4-year 2022 Orange Urban County Consortium Community Development Program Resolution, South Street Sidewalk ADA improvements. The Village of Warwick is hereby submitting its application for consideration under the 4-year 2022 Orange Urban County Consortium Community Development Program, and the chief elected official or executive officer is hereby authorized to submit this application for South Street Sidewalk ADA improvements as described in the proposal. Input from the citizens and groups have been received and considered, and an application has been prepared which addresses their community concerns. They further certify that they have read and understood the Orange Urban County Consortium Community Development Guidelines for year 2022 program year, and have met all of its applicable requirements, and that the information contained in the application is accurate and true to the best of their knowledge. If awarded CDBG funds, the municipality shall implement the activities in a manner to ensure compliance with all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustee Cheney,
Aye.
trustee Limber,
Aye.
trustee Bachman,
Aye.
trustee McManus,
Aye.
and Mayor Newhart.
Aye.
Make a motion to hire Hayes Griffin as part of the 2021 summer recreation staff at a salary of $13.50 per hour per the recommendation of the Village of Warwick Recreation Director, Ron Interini.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Make a motion to approve the Village of Warwick Summer Concert Series schedule per the attached calendar provided by Summer Concert Coordinator William Iorato.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Make a motion to grant permission to the Warwick Valley Gardeners to use the Pavilion and Memorial Park on Tuesday, June 15th, 2021 at 7 p.m. to hold their monthly meeting. Was set up to begin at 6:30 p.m. and break down to be completed at 8:45 p.m. as per the letter dated May 25th, 2021. All activities must be in accordance with Governor Cuomo's executive orders, New York State Regional Phase Reopening Plan, and New York State and Orange County Departments of Health. Completed park permit, proof of proper insurance, and security deposit have been received.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A motion to grant permission to Warwick Reformed Church to use the baseball field at Stanley Deming Park in coordination with the Warwick Little League to play softball from June 7, 2021 through September 30th, 2021. With games on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. All activities must be in accordance with Governor Cuomo's executive orders, New York State Regional Phase Reopening Plan, and New York State and Orange County Departments of Health. Completed park permit, proof of proper insurance, and security deposits have been received.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to grant permission to the Warwick Fire Department to use Veterans Memorial Park to hold their annual carnival per their letter dated May 5th, 2021. And COVID response plan dated May 20th, 2021. Setup is to begin on June 19th, 2021, and cleanup will be completed by Tuesday, June 29th, 2021. Carnival will be open to the public Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021 through Friday, June 25th, 2021, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and Saturday, June 26th, 2021 from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Fireworks are scheduled for Saturday, June 26, 2021, with a rain date of Sunday, June 27, 2021. In consideration of the COVID-19 health emergency, all activities must be in accordance with the Orange County Department of Health, CDC guidelines, and New York State Department of Health guidance, including but not limited to interim guidance for amusement and water parks during the COVID-19 public health emergency, advisory for county fairs and local festivals during the COVID-19 public health emergency, and interim guidance for food service during COVID-19 public health emergency. Additionally, the following must be adhered to by all employees, event staff, vendors, contractors, and patrons attendees. Capacity limitations, the Warwick Fire Department must adhere to the total number of attendees is limited such that at least 6 feet of distance can be maintained between individuals who are not members of the same party, household, family. Contact information, all attendees prior to arrival or upon entering must provide their names, address, and phone number for use in potential contact tracing efforts. Health screenings for all on-site individuals must be performed in accordance with the New York State Department of Health guidelines prior to entering the carnival. Temperature checks are required upon entry for all on-site individuals. Anyone who presents with a temperature of a 100.4 Fahrenheit or greater must be denied entry. Face covering requirement, masks are required to be worn and must be available for all on-site individuals, including employees, event staff, vendors, contractors, and patrons, attendees. Individuals may temporarily remove their face covering when eating or drinking while seated in a designated area to eat or drink. Designated eating areas, a space must be designated for the consumption of food and or beverage. All tables with seats must be at least 6 feet from any other table, seat, patron, or pedestrian thoroughfare. Controlled movement, entrance is limited to 2 designated areas and must include temperature checks, health screening, and COVID-19 signage consistent with New York State Department of Health. Hand hygiene, hand sanitizer must be made available throughout the carnival, including at entrances, exits, games, attractions, food vendors, and dining areas. Cleaning and disinfection, high traffic areas and frequently touched surfaces must be regularly cleaned and disinfected. Communication, COVID-19 signage consistent with New York State Department of Health must be posted throughout the premises, including but not limited to face coverings, social distances, and hand hygiene. Setup, carnival equipment to be reviewed by DPW supervisor, completed park permit, proof of proper insurance have been received, security deposit has been waived.
Second and discussion, please.
Okay.
Okay, first, just a question for clarification. The only thing that's going to carry over to Sunday if there's rain is the fireworks. The carnival will not be open on Sunday. Is that correct?
Right, correct.
Okay. And I just want to point out and, thank the fire department. Little Leagues reached out because with the extended deadlines, there are potentially some conflicts, and the fire department's been gracious enough to allow Little League to go in on the first Saturday that the setup is supposed to begin, and because that's basically the last day of the Little League season, and allow that to occur. And also the following, the last 2 days that they have for taking down the I guess the operation, the carnival and all. Little League has tournament games scheduled for those 2 evenings, and we've been assured that, you know, by 5:30 on Monday, even if the fireworks get moved to Sunday, that access to the parking areas will be available for Little League. So we appreciate, or the Little League appreciates that good faith gesture and assistance from the fire department.
I would also
Yeah,
like to mention that, obviously, this is a very detailed motion, but that came out of many meetings with the fire department and within themselves meeting and trying to figure out how to have an event such as this that is safe and that follows all the guidelines. And in essence, even taking further precautions. This is one of the few events that is happening at this time of year, and they want it to be a model. And so I applaud them for the hard work of doing that.
Great.
Any other comments? Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
And Corey?
Supporting the Village of Warwick's community solar campaign. Whereas the Triple Win Community Solar Campaign is a short-term local effort administered by the Village of Warwick and Sustainable Warwick that brings together groups of potential Solstice and Astral Power community solar customers through widespread outreach and education. And whereas this model helps customers choose a community solar company that is offering competitive, transparent pricing, and whereas community solar typically offers up to 10% savings on residents' electric bills, and whereas residents and businesses who sign up for community solar by a specific deadline will be able to support local solar energy generation, and whereas the village shall also be able to take advantage of community solar and receive up to a 10% discount on municipal electric accounts, and whereas Sustainable Warwick and the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, NYSERDA, will provide technical assistance and other tools and resources to communities in support of community solar campaigns. Now therefore be it resolved that the village supports, endorses, and is committed to participating in a community solar campaign. Be it further resolved that the village stands ready to assist with community outreach and education in support of a community solar campaign.
Second, discussion.
Yes.
These couple questions. What methods of solicitation of the residents will be used as part of this effort?
I believe mailers are going out through Astral Power and Solstice. And also, I'm sure that the nonprofits have been asked to use their email listservs to send out the created website links for these specific campaigns.
Good. Okay. Is there an expectation that there would be door-to-door solicitation?
I think there may be for, Astral Power, I believe so.
Is that the one we approved a while ago,
I think it was
a couple meetings ago?
I think
Okay. And does this cover a specific period of time that wasn't mentioned?
I think the end date is July 15th.
Right.
Thank you. And then just the last resolved, it says the village stands ready to assist with community outreach and education. Obviously, you and the mayor have been working with them closely. That's certainly a component of the assistance. Are there other things that you expect the village will be doing to assist and support?
I think any help that we can get from the village would be great. I know we've talked about maybe setting up a table at the farmers market so that me and or the mayor can speak to people about this campaign and some of the benefits.
Great, thank you. That's a great concept. Appreciate it.
Okay, so that's a roll call vote.
Trustee Cheney,
Aye.
trustee Lindberg,
Aye.
trustee Bachman.
Aye.
Trustee McManus
Aye.
and Mayor Newhart.
Aye. And Barry, would you take? the-
Okay, yes. Resolution of the Village of Warwick, New York, expressing community support of anti-racism, peaceful protest, and intolerance towards any form of discrimination. Whereas the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and countless other Black and brown people have captured the country's attention on the perpetuation of structural racism that continues to negatively impact communities of color. And whereas the Village of Warwick, New York recognizes that the injustices perpetuated by individuals with racial prejudice and malicious intent targeting Black and brown people, and the need to respond to these injustices and struggles wherever they exist. And whereas the Village of Warwick, New York recognizes that racism is a real and present concern in all our communities, and the Village of Warwick will actively work to provide fairness and equal treatment in village policies and procedures to ensure that diversity is a major consideration. And whereas the Village of Warwick, New York stands with peaceful protesters demonstrating their commitment to ending racism and inequality and recognizes the need to be actively anti-racist. And whereas the Village of Warwick, New York recognizes the importance of the right to free speech and demonstration as essential to our nation's identity and gives our unwavering support to the fight against racism and all forms of hatred. Whereas we recognize that as a nation, we must commit ourselves to equality regardless of race, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, religious beliefs or disbeliefs, immigration status, or location, and the need to cultivate an intergenerational and communal network free from ageism that embodies and practices justice, liberation, and peace in their engagements with one another. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Village of Warwick, New York, recognizes its responsibility to actively oppose all forms of inequality, whether race, gender, or age, and to recognize and support the meaningful actions to extinguish racism, hatred, and violence here in the Village of Warwick, throughout New York State, the United States, and globally. And be it further resolved that the clerk of the Village of Warwick, New York, is hereby directed to send certified copies of this resolution to Honorable Andrew M. Cuomo, Governor of the State of New York, the Honorable Andrea Stewart Cousins, President, Majority Leader of the New York State Senate, Honorable Robert G. Ort, Minority Leader of the New York Senate, Honorable Carl E. Hastings, Speaker of the New York Assembly, Honorable William A. Barkley, Minority Leader of the New York Senate, and to Senator Michael Martucci and Assemblyman Carl Brabenec.
Second.
This is a roll call, right? Trustee Cheney,
Aye.
trustee Lindberg,
Aye.
trustee Bachman.
Aye.
Trustee McManus
Um,
and Mayor Newhart.
Aye. And George?
I make a motion to hire Stephanie Menotis to a position of Village of Warwick office intern at a pay rate of $12.50 per hour at 20 hours per week for 12 weeks with a start date of June 8th, 2021.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to advertise for the position of a full-time village deputy clerk.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Final comments? I did want to mention that on June 19th will be a Juneteenth celebration on Railroad Green, and it is from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The street will be closed for the celebration. Live music, dancing, live performances, and it is organized by a strong group, a group of strong women called who call themselves Power, or it's the Power Poetry Project, Power of Words Exposing Racism. And so there will be poetry reading throughout the day, as well as music and some guest speakers. So it should be a really wonderful event. And so I definitely look forward to it. It's the first Juneteenth event that we've ever had in our community, and quite a change from a year ago when it was the scene of many protests, and now I think we're moving towards a place of dialogue, a place of really understanding, the issues that are at hand, and that's exactly what we have to do as a community. That's all I have for this evening. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Right.